Welcome to Cardboard Chemistry. I'm your host, MTG Labman, and today we're going to finish out the cards that were spoiled during the Lorwyn Eclipsed pre-release for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set coming out with the colorless artifacts and lands. So that being said, let's get started. The first card is Chrome Dome, 2 colorless for a 1/3 artifact creature robot ninja. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+0. And then pay 5 colorless, create a token that's a copy of another target artifact you control. That token gains haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So this gives you the ability to copy artifacts, and it's not just artifact creatures. So if you have a powerful artifact that you want to copy, and use it. It seems like a pretty powerful ability, especially for a 2-mana value creature that also buffs your other artifacts. I think this is going to be a pretty solid choice. This is probably going to be a pickup for me for my Mendicant Core Guide Light that also works on copying artifacts. Moving on, Krang Utrom Warlord, 9 colorless, for a 9/9 legendary artifact creature Utrom robot. Has flying, trample, indestructible, and haste. And then other artifact creatures you control have flying, trample, indestructible, and haste. This is just a improvement over Darksteel Citadel. It has indestructible. It gives all of your other artifact creatures flying, trample, indestructible, and haste. If you're running an artifact deck, probably a guaranteed pickup. I know I want to pick up at least 1 copy of this card. I might have to pick up 2. Definitely 1 for my Captain Triad deck that likes very high mana value artifacts that also can buff all of my stuff. 9/9 isn't anything to sneeze at either. Just a super solid card. Definitely worth picking up. Moving on, the Ooze. It's a 2 colorless legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it leaves the battlefield, create a mutagen token for each +1/+1 counter on it. Mutagen tokens are an artifact with pay 1 and tap. You sacrifice the artifact token, and you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. The Ooze also has an ability to tap, exile target card from a graveyard, create a mutagen token. So you can exile cards from a graveyard, so not even yours. You can target other cards in opponents' graveyards, exile that, and create a mutagen token. This is definitely a card that works with +1/+1 counters, right? Because it says for each +1/+1 counter, so if you have a creature that has multiple +1/+1 counters, 4 or 5 +1/+1 counters, when that leaves the battlefield, if this is out, you get 4 mutagen tokens or 5 mutagen tokens. This is definitely going to be a pickup for my Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp modular deck, because all of my creatures, with the modular ability, enter the battlefield with +1/+1 counters on them. So just extra benefit to get some more artifacts. I run Cart Clan Ironworks and that, so it also gives me more squares, triangles, rectangles to sacrifice and get value out of. The next card is Technodrome, 2 colorless for a artifact creature construct. It's a 3/3 with reach and trample. It can't attack or block unless its power is 6 or greater. Tap it, sacrifice another artifact, draw a card, and put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So it seems like it's a sack outlet for artifacts. You'll have to sacrifice. You have to do this 3 times, but there are plenty of ways to untap artifacts. So 2 mana, tap it, or 2 mana value, then you can tap it and sacrifice another artifact to draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on it. So card draw sack outlet, unwinding clock, other various ways, voltaic key to untap artifacts and basically allow you to do this multiple times and easily get this thing to a 6/6 on turn 3 or turn 4, and plus get you a card draw. So it seems like a really solid creature. Next is the Turtle Van, 3 colorless for a 4/4 artifact vehicle. When this vehicle attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature that crewed it this turn. Then if that creature is a mutant, ninja, or turtle, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. It has crew 1. So you only have to tap a creature with total power 1 to crew this. And if you're running this in a deck that has +1/+1 counters, basically you crew this, and then that creature, whatever creature that crewed that, you double the counters on it. It seems very, very strong, very very fun, and easy to use this to crew. Yeah, and it's only a target creature that crewed it, so it's not like you could crew this up with multiple creatures with +1/+1 counters on it and then double all of their counters. So they did restrict it in that way. Moving on to the final artifact, we have Weather Maker, 3 colorless, artifact with landfall. Whenever a land enters, you put a charge counter on this artifact. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color. You can tap it to remove 2 charge counters from it and add 2 colorless mana. Or you can tap it and remove 3 charge counters from this artifact. It deals 3 damage to any target. This is kind of easy to say. Anything that can manipulate charge counters, anything that can manipulate counters in and of itself, like proliferate or anything. Basically, this can allow you to proliferate the charge counters on it. So a land enters, you proliferate, get another counter on this. The tap and remove 3 is basically lightning bolt anything. So I feel like this is actually going to be a pretty solid card to run in most proliferate decks. It is 3 mana. It will replace a 3 mana value mana rock, especially if you're running proliferate, right? Landfall and proliferate, very simple to do. And yeah, it doesn't, if you have a way to untap it, you could trigger it multiple times, but even just, 1 time a turn, deal 3 damage to an opponent or whatnot seems pretty powerful. And the last colorless card that was spoiled is a land, Northampton Farm. You can tap it to add colorless, so it doesn't produce any colored mana. You can pay 1 and tap it to exile target creature you own, which I think is actually kind of nice, because it's not target creature you control, it's target creature you own. So if an opponent does steal something of yours, or even if they steal your commander, you could pay 1, tap this, exile your commander, and it comes back to your command zone. Or, they steal one of your big creatures and you don't want to get swung at with it, you can exile it. And then pay 2 and tap, sacrifice this land, return a creature card exiled with this land to the battlefield under your control. And then return each other card exiled with this land to its owner's hand. So you can literally actually, the second ability works. The third ability, it works even better. You could pay 1, exile a creature you own. So somebody steals it, you exile it. And then basically you can pay 2 and sacrifice this and return that card to the battlefield. And if they've taken multiple your creatures, or they have a theft effect that they steal something every turn, you can grab something back from them on each of your turns. So I feel like this is a response to the Reaper King No More, right? They steal your stuff with -1/-1 counters, then you just take your turn stealing or exiling what they've stolen from you, and then you pay 2 and you sacrifice this. You return one of those cards to the battlefield, and then you put all of the other ones back in your hand. So this seems like not the most efficient way to gain things back, but a pretty solid way to recover from your things being taken. And with that being said, that's all of the cards that were spoiled in the Lorwyn Eclipsed pre-release sets for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.